The problem with intermittent fasting is the fact that it is not something that just magically works by controlling your feeding window. Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's Christine with gaugegirl Training, and in today's video we're going to discuss intermittent fasting for beginners. So let's get started. Before we dig into the topic, I first wanted to shout out this white floral kimono wrap that I'm wearing. It's long, it covers the booty. It's extremely comfortable. This was gifted to me, and you can actually find this on Amazon. It's really nice. It's a lightweight, comes in a lot of different colors. It's a light floral design, and it actually would be nice if you wanted to cover up a bathing suit, if you're a little bit cold, a dress, something for in your office if the climate's always changing. So check it out, link below. But for today's video, you guys, we're going to talk about intermittent fasting. There's a lot of information on it about the internet, and I wanted to go over the core basics you need to know about intermittent fasting, especially if you are a beginner. So intermittent fasting is something that tells you when to eat, not what to eat, but when to eat. And as a result of this, it can support fat loss for this one distinct reason. And what it does is every time you eat something that has carbs in it, your body will have an insulin spike to shuttle the glucose out of the blood and into your cells. Now, every time you have an insulin spike, your pancreas releases the insulin hormone. However, the pancreas is also responsible for releasing another hormone known as glucagon. When your pancreas is busy releasing insulin, it is not able to release the glucagon hormone. So by giving your body less insulin spikes over the course of a day, your body has more residence time to release glucagon and therefore facilitate fat loss. The problem with intermittent fasting is the fact that it is not something that just magically works by controlling your feeding window. It works if you control your feeding window and you are in a caloric deficit and you are eating the appropriate foods, calorie levels, and macros for your goals. So just because you don't eat for a day, that does not mean you're necessarily going to lose weight if when you do end up eating, when you do eat during your feeding window, that you are eating way too much food. So fasting cannot undo the work of eating more than you're supposed to be eating for your goals. So there's 4 things I want you guys to know about intermittent fasting. Number 1 is that there's an adaptation period. So a very popular intermittent fast is a 16-8, where you do not eat for 16 hours. That includes your sleeping time, and you concentrate all of your food into an 8-hour time frame. Most people will eat between like maybe 11 and 7 p.m., 12 noon and 8 p.m. That's a great example. However, there is an adaptation period, and as a result of that, that does not mean you need to jump right into a 16-8. For instance, you can start by doing 12-12 and getting used to that, and then maybe you can do 14 hours and then 10 hours, and then you can gradually move to 16-8. So do not feel like you need to do all of this all at once. There is an adaptation period. You will feel suboptimal at first. It may be mentally draining for some of you. Your workouts may not be as good if you are training in a fasted state. So just be very mindful that there is going to be an adaptation period. The next common question regarding intermittent fasting is, can you have anything during the fasted state? And there are 2 views about this. Some people are very hardcore, saying do not eat anything during the fasting period and only have water, where others are a little bit more flexible. And I'm more flexible when it comes to that and a little bit more realistic. So as long as it's not going to spike your insulin, I think it's okay. I think some pre-workout supplements will be okay as long as they do not contain carbs. I think that coffee is fine. Coffee with a fat is okay, as well as water, tea, and coffee. Now, it's going to depend on who you ask, but for people that I am specifically coaching under intermittent fasting style protocols, I would definitely say those things are acceptable to have during the fasted window. The next thing is about should you work out during the fasted state. So I think cardio is perfectly fine. However, you do need to take it easy if you are going to weight train during the fasted state. Now, if you're following a ketogenic diet, and you work out in the fasted state, that's perfectly fine because your body is fueling itself off of fat. However, if you are not on a ketogenic protocol and you are going to work out in the fasted state, I would encourage you guys to be careful with that. While it's not optimal, I would encourage you to try to work out during the fed state or right after the fed state, right before the fed state, anytime close to where you can actually make sure that you are properly fueled. But just know that you should take it easy at first. If you are going to work out in the fasted state, I do not recommend it, but if you're going to, because of time or whatever, and your workouts may be compromised, so keep that in mind. And last but not least, for beginners, IF or intermittent fasting, it will not work if you're in a caloric surplus. It does not matter if you perfectly do the 16-8 every single day. If you are eating in a caloric surplus, which means if your basal metabolic rate plus all of your activity calories, and which yields your total daily energy expenditure, if you are eating above your total daily energy expenditure or even at your total daily energy expenditure, no matter what time of the day you eat those foods, it is not going to result in weight loss. So be mindful of that. Make sure you calculate your macros. If you need help on how to do that and whether or not an intermittent fasting protocol is right for you, I am taking one-on-one consultation, so you can click the link below if you want to sign up for one. I do have limited spaces, or you could work with one of our gaugegirl training certified nutritionists. So take care, you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.